Hi, it's Keto Granny, and I'm going to talk with you about intermittent fasting. How to do intermittent fasting right. What is intermittent fasting? What does it do for you? Um, what do you eat? What type of foods? When can you eat? What's the best time to intermittent fast? Does intermittent fasting benefit you? These are some of the questions that I'm going to answer in this video. And I also like to let you know that intermittent fasting is not a fad diet. It is not a diet at all. It's not starving, which some people seem to think that if they're fasting, they're starving. Actually, it's been around since forever. Actually, what it's called intermittent fasting. It's basically energy intermittent. It's also called intermittent energy restriction. It's a strategy for meal timing, scheduling. It's a pattern of when you eat and when you do not eat. And when you're doing intermittent fasting, you will have an eating window. And during this time is when you will eat your meals. And this eating window can be any hours that you choose, and it can be any length um, when you're doing intermittent fasting. Now, when you are doing your fasting, you will have no eating during this time, but you will be able to have keto approved liquids. And by this, I mean you can have like lemon water, you can have apple cider vinegar with lemon juice and a little bit of Himalayan pink salt. During this time, you can use this to drink water. You want to drink lots of water because you want to stay hydrated. But the things that you want to drink have to be zero carbs for the best results when you are doing the ketogenic diet and when you're doing your intermittent fasting. Remember, when leaving your fasting state, you're going to ease into your eating window. You don't want to just jump in and eat a whole bunch of food. Ease into it. Have you a little bit of coffee, add you some heavy whipping cream to it, or have you a few eggs or something like that. But don't eat too many carbs at your first meal. You want this meal to be, just like I said, to ease into it. Now, if you're doing OMAD, then push that back a little further. And yes, during this meal, you're going to have to try to add in your vegetables, your protein, and a little bit of carbs. But during this time, make sure that you uh, allow yourself allow yourself enough time to eat during your window. Now, I'm going to talk about some popular intermittent fasting schedules. And the most popular one is the 16 and 8. And this is a time restrictive fasting regimen. And what it's saying is when you consume all your daily calories within a specific 8-hour time frame and fast for the other 16 hours. Now, some people fast for 12 hours, 14 hours, 20 hours a day. Your fasting time is something that you have to decide. So as you see here, I have the 20 and 4. That's where you fast for 20 hours, and then you have a 4-hour eating window in order for you to eat your meal. And some people usually, if you're doing that, they usually have that as a large meal. You'll have your protein. You may have a huge salad during that time or whatever, but you will have it all within that 4-hour window. You can have this meal at any time that you choose, but you should finish eating the meal within that 1 hour eating window. Now, as I said before, they have a lot of different schedules and different ways that you can do intermittent fasting. Some of these I don't recommend, but I will tell you about them anyway because other people have found them to be successful. I have not. The 5 and 2 plan, you eat normally for 5 days a week, and then you take in 500 to 600 calories the other 2 days. And so that's the 5 and 2. So for 5 days during the week, you eat normal meals, and then for 2 days, you restrict your calories to 5 and 600 calories for those 2 days. Now I don't know how that works, but that's what the 5 and 2 is. Alternate day fasting. Alternate day fasting is just what it says. You follow a pattern of eating normally one day, and then you severely restrict your calorie intake the next day. With time restricted fasting, you eat only within certain hours of the day also. So it's a way of fasting also. Then you have your 12 and 12, which is for 12 hours you will fast, and then for 12 hours is when you will have your one, or when you will have your 2 meals, usually during this time. Usually if you're doing keto and intermittent fasting, you should usually be down to 2 meals and graduated from having 3 meals a day. 2 meals a day, I believe, is what the most a person should have if they are dieting on keto and intermittent fasting. 2 meals is what you want to aim for if you're having all these other little small meals and snacks during the day anyway. 2 meals is going to be the easiest for you. At least I found it to be the easiest for me. And occasionally, when I feel like it and when my body does it naturally, I do the 1 meal a day. You can also do the 14 and 10, and that's where you fast for 14 hours, and then during that 10-hour window is when you will have your meal. As you can see, fasting can be adapted to your eating needs and to your lifestyle requirements. That is what you want to do, because that way you'll be able to stick to your schedule. You want to find a schedule that fits your lifestyle and your activities, and this is going to be your key to your success. Always remember that you count the hours that you're sleeping as fasting. Start with a 12 and 12 fasting schedule if this is easier, and work your way toward fasting longer. I want you to be successful. So find the schedule that's going to work best for you. Like I said, I want you to be successful, not miserable while you're trying to do intermittent fasting and the ketogenic diet. And as always, be sure to check with your doctor before you start any diet to make sure that intermittent fasting will work for you and it's not going to interfere with any medications that you're taking. Pick an intermittent fasting schedule, like I said, that works best for you. And one of the most used schedules is the 16 and 8. And that's fasting for 16 hours with no food. And then you eat your meals during that 8-hour window, your 1 or 2 meals. As I said, you should have graduated from 3 meals by this time in your dieting schedule. Now, my intermittent fasting schedule, 18 and 6. And this is what it usually looks like. This is my usual intermittent fasting schedule. I tend to keep the schedule regularly, and I can shorten it or change it to the hours that vary or that I need according to my schedule for the day or my daily activities. And you can do the same. Once you start eating on your schedule, it will become your normal eating pattern rather quickly, especially if you practice it daily. Your body is going to become very adaptive to that. And there may be some days that you may even forget to eat, which is going to be a good thing. Or, you're going to push those meals back further, and that's going to be good. Listen to your body and follow your body. There's going to be times when you won't have much of an appetite, like I said, and you can do extended fasting or adjust your fasting window according to how you're feeling. So you see, intermittent fasting can be done easily and quite naturally when you practice it routinely and on a regular basis. So at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, by that time in the morning, I'm having some tea because I like to start my day with like a warm drink or warm lemon water. I sip on that a lot. Apple cider vinegar with a little bit of lemon juice in it and some Himalayan pink salt. That helps me to replenish my electrolytes, and sometimes I even drink chicken broth. I keep broth in the refrigerator. I usually try to have some broth made, and that helps a lot also. It says on here, black coffee with MCT oil or grass-fed butter. Some people can get away with that. Now, when I first started the ketogenic diet and during my fasting period, I did drink bulletproof coffee, and I still was able to lose weight. So that is really up to you and something for you to try and tweak with during your time. So during those times in the morning, I'm sipping on my coffee, drinking my liquids and water. I drink lots of water, and you should drink lots of water also because you want to stay hydrated on the ketogenic diet. That's very important. So about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm having my breakfast, which is usually eggs and bacon, and then I'll add some veggies. Keep your meals simple. That way you'll enjoy your breakfast, and it'll make it a lot easier also. 7 o'clock p.m. is when my fasting starts. I'll usually start eating my meal about 6 o'clock so that by 7 o'clock I'm through eating for the day, and I'm going to start fasting, and I'm going to start drinking, have a warm drink or something before I go to bed. So like I said, my fasting window includes my sleeping hours because that makes it a whole lot easier for me. So from 7 o'clock at night until 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm still fasting, but I'll get up and I'll start my day with a drink, of whatever I'm going to have, coffee or some tea or warm lemon water, and I'm going to drink on that again until 1 o'clock when it's time for me to eat again, and that cycle starts all the way over again. And then just as a reminder, it says last meal for the day. And if I might need something sweet or something, I usually try to keep some fat bombs or something made up, some keto cheesecake, something in the refrigerator. And then I'll have it right after my meal so that I can stop eating on time, which is by 7 o'clock p.m. And this cycle starts over, and that's my 18 and 6 schedule. Now, you can find yourself a schedule that fits your lifestyle and then follow that schedule, because that's going to be the key to your success, finding a schedule that's going to work for you. Okay, now this is my updated schedule now, and I don't want to get you confused, but you can look over this when you have some time. Some of the benefits of intermittent fasting is it improves your health. Some studies have shown that intermittent fasting improves your insulin levels. It reduces inflammation in your body and in your joints and in your muscles. Also, it helps with weight loss, which is what a lot of us use intermittent fasting for. It helps with your mental clarity. If you have brain fog, it's going to help clear this up where your mental clarity will be much sharper. You will be, you would think better. If you have dementia or Alzheimer's, it will help improve these type of things. It activates autophagy. And autophagy is an amazing cellular process where your body breaks down and recycles your worn out cell components. And this is something where the body cell regenerates itself, and you get amazing benefits such as beautiful skin. All of this takes place because of intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting, it reduces your insulin and it lowers your blood sugar levels. This is why a lot of people use intermittent fasting. It helps with lowering your insulin level, which is also what the ketogenic diet does. So using the two together, you can see how it only enhances each other. Also, it causes autophagy, as I said, removal of cell waste and regeneration. Very, very important. Insulin levels drop and human growth hormone increases. When your human growth hormone increases, this is what gets your autophagy going. It helps reduce cholesterol and helps reduce your blood pressure. And they say that it extends your lifespan. This has been based on, I guess, some studies that they have done. But it is said that intermittent fasting prolongs your lifespan. It also protects against neurodegenerative diseases. It reduces inflammation in your body, which has been a great, great benefit for me because my body used to be so inflamed. And it protects against heart disease. So you see benefits. Some of the benefits of intermittent fasting are really great, and they are things that will help you along the way. Keep my schedules pretty well on the ketogenic diet. Now, started off big. Decide if you will work out while you're fasting, and also what type of exercise that you're going to do. It doesn't have to be a strenuous exercise. Decide the best time. Most find it best exercise in the morning while they're fasting. This is when I exercise because that's when I get the most benefits. Doing this will expend more energy. It's going to burn more calories, and plus you're going to feel lighter at this time when you wake up in the morning, so you're going to be putting more into it and getting down when you're doing your exercise. You should be in a good or prime condition to exercise, and you are going to reap some amazing benefits. Now, exercise at least for 30 minutes, and you want to do it consistently, at least 5 to 6 days a week. After your meals, take a 20 to 30-minute walk if you can around the neighborhood, or through your apartment right now, or your home, or where you're living. Fit exercise into your schedule. It's worth it. You're worth it. Fit exercise into your schedule is going to help you feel better. Lemon water is such a refreshing drink, and it's so full of electrolytes. It's full of potassium, vitamin C. So add in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice to your water, and this is going to help replenish your electrolytes. Also, you can replenish your electrolytes by drinking a lot of I call them green smoothies, and you're going to make these with leafy green vegetables. This is going to help make sure you're getting enough veggies that you need daily, and you can use smoothies to do this. Add in some delicious berries, almond milk, cucumber, avocado, celery. I use a lot of different things in my smoothies. Just make it according to your taste buds. Sometimes I might even add in a squirt of stevia to taste, but sometimes it's so delicious and creamy just by adding in those ingredients. You don't have to add in a sweetener. So as I said, be sure to check with your doctor to make sure that you can even drink green smoothies, especially because if you're taking warfarin or some of those type of medications, it could interfere with them. So always check with your doctor, especially if you're on blood thinners, and be sure to follow your doctor's advice about it. Okay, so intermittent fasting, it helps you lose weight. One thing about intermittent fasting, once you start intermittent fasting, you will automatically be reducing your calories because you'll be eating less, and you'll be eating at less times normally. Intermittent fasting will help you control your appetite. It also helps people combat obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. These are illnesses that are risk factors for age-related diseases. Diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, some dementia. It's been shown that intermittent fasting improves your mental clarity for these type of diseases. Periodic food restriction lowers brain inflammation, which is very, very important on the ketogenic diet. It protects your nerve cells, according to some recent studies in control groups of individuals. Yes, studies that were done on people and not on animals. So we can see that intermittent fasting does help, and it does have some benefits to people. Also, some other benefits of intermittent fasting. One thing that you need to know is that intermittent fasting, it is not a diet. But as I said, it is an eating pattern. It is a pattern of when you eat and when you do not eat. It splits a day into periods of eating and fasting, which you alternate between. Intermittent fasting, I said, is about when to eat and when not to eat. So by definition, it is not a diet, which is what a lot of people tend to think of it as, a diet. It is more of a diet tool. A diet tool. Make sure you understood what I said. Because it's not about the food you eat, intermittent fasting works with any dietary choices. So you can basically do any diet that you like, add an intermittent fasting, and if you're doing it correctly, you should see some results. I know people that basically, like I said, they eat like they want to, but they do it at a certain period of the day, or they may just be having one meal a day, and they are having results as far as just doing the intermittent fasting. So this is something that you could take into consideration while you're thinking about what you want to do while incorporating intermittent fasting into your diet choice. There's no calorie counting on intermittent fasting. And also, you don't have to worry about the foods that you eat. So that makes it a whole lot easier when you decide to add an intermittent fasting and don't have to come up with actually a diet. But adding it in with the ketogenic diet, you're going to see some amazing, amazing results with intermittent fasting and keto. You choose a part of the day to not eat. And this is going to be called your fasting window. And the other part of the day is reserved for eating, which is going to be your eating window. And like I said, you have different choices between that, which I have already explained, like the 18 and 6, 16 and 8, 20 and 4. Just whatever works for you. It's up to you to choose that fasting schedule. Intermittent fasting can easily fit into just about any lifestyle or diet. Many people find that intermittent fasting is less restrictive and more flexible, and it helps them to actually stick to their diet plan and helps them to be more successful. This leads to the 16 and 8 fasting, which to me is the fasting method around, but like I said, you have to make the choice as to what schedule you want to use on intermittent fasting. That choice is yours. Fats. Now I'm going to just give you a little bit of information as far as to different weights of things in grams so that you know fat is much denser than protein and carbohydrates. And as we all know, we would consider alcohol or empty calories, so they're basically wasted calories. If you're going to eat something that is going to be beneficial to you is what I say. So as you can see, fat, 1 gram of fat has 9 calories, while 1 gram of protein has 4 calories and 1 gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories. So your body on the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting, you're going to be using fat, and that's where you're going to be getting your energy from. And as you can see, it's a much denser calorie to use, so it's going to be there a lot longer to give you this energy. And our body converts all processed carbs and wheat into sugar. So remember that when you're making your food choices, that processed carbs and wheat, all of this is converted into sugar. Eating healthy fats burns more calories than eating the same amount of carbs. Diets that are high in fat do not make people fat. We've been taught this for so long that it's hard to get it out of our heads. I had trouble starting to think the correct way was that eating fats does not make me fat. Okay, just remember that. Diets that are high in fat do not make people fat. People make themselves fat by eating too much sugar. A diet that is high in carbs and fat will make you fat, not because of the fat, but because of the carbs that you're eating. One thing to remember is that physical activity helps burn belly fat. So it's very important to incorporate some type of exercise into your diet as you're doing intermittent fasting and the ketogenic diet. Remember that. So if you want to incorporate intermittent fasting into your schedule, my message to you is if you're thinking of trying intermittent fasting, the 16 and 8 fasting method is the easiest to do and stick to. If you have to work yourself up to this schedule gradually, do so. It involves eating only during an 8-hour period and fasting for the remaining 16 hours. Also, if you're trying to lose weight, intermittent fasting is said to aid in weight loss. This is without counting calories and following a specific meal plan, as I've already explained in the video. It may also improve your blood sugar, help with better brain function, and longevity of living. Before you start, always discuss with your doctor to see if intermittent fasting is right for you. As always, subscribe to my videos, like, and share with anybody who you feel can benefit from this video. This is Keto Granny saying until next time, keto on and stay healthy. Bye-bye.